beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a good Friday today. So as many of you guys may know, I recently just came back from my trip from Vietnam. Like seriously, it was an amazing trip. I was able to see all my family and relatives over in Vietnam. And it was a huge culture shock too, but in a good way. So I'm here today sharing with you some of the stuff that I learned from my trip from Vietnam. So kicking things off, this is really random, but it's just some of the stuff that I noticed while I was over there. People don't really use paper towels or napkins. Like usually when I'm going to a restaurant, I expect to have a napkin or a paper towel, something just to wipe my face, but they don't really give that over there. So I've been to a lot of different cities over in Vietnam, but I've never actually seen anybody use paper towels. So when you're going to a restaurant, what you would expect is they would hand you a wet nap, which is great, but it's not really the type of thing that you would expect to have when you're eating. By the way, it's not free, so don't be surprised when you look at your bill and you see an extra $1 or $2. So the second best thing that I really came across was pretty much they just handing me a roll of toilet paper, which I mean, it works fine. It's just, you know, not the same. Number 2, bar soap over liquid soap. I know, this is really, really random, and I don't know why I managed to notice these things, but I did. And so I noticed this a lot, that I've never actually seen anybody use liquid soap over there. Rather, it would come in these packets that I actually thought were candy, which do not try to swallow it because it will kill you. Or they would use just a regular bar soap. By the way, Irish Spring. By the way, Irish Spring. By the way, Irish Spring. Try saying that 3 times fast. Irish Spring, Irish Spring, Irish. Yeah. By the way, Irish Spring is amazing. Number 3, driving is a mess. Now, believe me when I say this, I'm an okay driver, but I'm scared as hell to try to even drive over in Vietnam. And don't worry, I will have an entire episode dedicated to just this subject. And if you thought driving was bad, try crossing the street. Exercise is a big part of the culture. And so the first couple of days that I was there, I was still jet lagged, so I would probably wake up at about like 5 or 6 a.m. And it was absolutely amazing because I would walk down to the park and there were tons of people already there playing sports on the ellipticals and pull-up bars, like you name it. That's actually something that I wish that we would have that mindset here in the States, to actually like get up early and go exercise, go for a run, go play some badminton in the park. But unfortunately, I have no friends to play badminton with. Bargaining is a must. Now I say this with full confidence that you can get a much better price at whatever they're selling it for. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're at the fish market, at the hotel. Okay, maybe not a hotel, but definitely a fish market. And also, depending on how good your Vietnamese is, prices do fluctuate. That is to say that someone like me with horrible Vietnamese walking over trying to buy some fruit, it's gonna be very expensive for me. So here's a tip. If you're at the market and no matter what you're buying, offer them half the price that they're selling. If they say no, start walking away. 9 times out of 10, they will chase you down to sell their product. Chanel everything. I cannot tell you how many times I saw the Chanel logo on just about everything. And the normal stuff is you would think that it'd be like shirts, jackets, hats, and that's cool. But then they started putting the logo on just about everything else. Chanel face masks, Chanel chopsticks, Chanel helmets. Like, is that really necessary? I mean, I know you like Chanel and everything, but come on. Electronics are more expensive here. Now this point I actually found very, very interesting because when I was over here, I noticed that electronics are almost double the price that they are over here in the States. So products like Apple, Samsung, LG, you name it, are super, super expensive in Vietnam. Now the main reason is because it's actually double taxed in Vietnam. And so a lot of people who can't manage to buy those products and then resell them at a ridiculously high price, they'll either have their relatives in the States or Canada or Europe buy those Apple iPhones or Samsung Galaxies, and then they'll actually bring it back over to Vietnam to resell. Now this next point is kind of a tangent to the last point, but one thing that I found very interesting was that fish sauce in America is actually a lot better than the fish sauce in Vietnam. And this is like mind-blowing to me. You would think that the country that created fish sauce would have a much better product than, say, the country that it exports it to. It's kind of weird. What I found out was that manufacturers who produce fish sauce in Vietnam make actually a lot more money when they export those products over, say, Canada, United States, Europe, than they would if they actually sold it back into the country. Black ice.
Lots of reports of black ice.
Ooh, you gotta watch out for that dangerous black ice. It's transparent and sneaky. Hard to see black ice.
No, not that black ice. So I found out that a lot of people in Vietnam don't actually have their own ice machines. Mostly because it's just really expensive over here. So what they do is they actually go to the store and buy these big boxes of ice. And it's not just crushed ice, it's one huge block of ice. You remember that scene from Frozen when they were cutting up ice?
Cut through the heart, cold and clear, strike for love and strike.
Yeah, just like a block like that. So they would bring these big blocks of ice home and start hammering and chiseling it down so they can get some crushed ice to put in their drinks and whatnot. No central air. So unless you're part of the top 0.005% of the Vietnamese population, you don't have central air in your house. So the only way to actually stay cool is fans. And I saw like all types of fans. Fans that stick to the ceiling, fans that stick to the wall, fans that blow mist out, fans that subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I can't believe I haven't even said this already, but it is amazingly hot over there. I'm talking like 100 degrees every single day at 100% humidity. And what's even crazier than that is that I saw drivers driving around covered in head to toe. Over here in the States, we like getting tan, we like going out to the beach and, you know, tanning in the sun. It's quite the opposite over in Vietnam. They actually really hate the sun and hate getting tan. My last point is there's Uber in the city. Now, if you're like me and you suck at speaking in Vietnamese, then Uber is your best friend. So anytime I would take a taxi over here, it would cost about $5 to go anywhere within a 15-minute radius. Well, guess what? Uber is half that price. I know, crazy. But it makes it so convenient because you don't even have to understand Vietnamese to know where you're going. All you have to do is just put in your address and then they'll take you to wherever you need to go and then you pay in cash. That's about it. There's no ripping off, there's no price gouging. So that's about it for today, guys. I hope you guys like this video. For more upcoming Vietnam videos, like, comment, subscribe down below. They're coming, I promise you. And if you wanted to check out my last video, click over here.
Strike.